The wacky world of MultimediaJay.
Howdy folks, plain slate blue background on the computer this time as we continue our discussion about Winamp. And I switched the wallpaper back because I didn't want to tick too many people off. I mean, yeah, sure, a little Christmas creep joke, but I'm not a big fan of Christmas creep. And I imagine some of the folks who watch these videos probably aren't big fans either, so I figured, oh, let's not tick anybody off here and stuff like that. Anyways, let's continue our discussion about the whole Winamp thing, beginning with this lovely article. I should probably hide my bookmarks bar so I can get a little bit more screen space. Okay, so apparently Microsoft might be talking with AOL to buy up Shoutcast and Winamp when the Winamp stuff is shut down next month. I think that would actually be a pretty good thing, actually. Maybe, you know, Microsoft's trying to build up a music infrastructure similar to Pandora, last I checked, like Xbox Music or something like that. So the infrastructure from the former Winamp Shoutcast infrastructure, I think it probably adapted or something like that. But the big thing is, I'd really like to see Winamp go along for the ride with this whole Shoutcast thing. Or what it should be is, Winamp should become the kind of program. Winamp should become the kind of program where, yeah, sure, it's not updated or supported anymore, but it just sticks around. So those of us who want to continue using the last release of Winamp for Winamp-y type stuff can continue using it. I don't know if that's what AOL is going to do. A lot of the stuff I'm reading from them is they're saying that it's not going to be available for download either. They're like, please download it before we pull the plug and everything, and, you know, old programs and stuff like this, really, it's, anyways, doesn't have to go this way, you know. It's not like Winamp is completely obsolete. See, what I think happened with AOL was AOL is a company that tries from time to time to be a jack of trades, but an ace at none. They try to be everything to everybody, and it gets them in trouble, and this was one such example. So yeah, they bought out Winamp. Okay, the one big thing that AOL has done well, ever, basically, is they're good at delivering content to people. So they're kind of going back to that now. AOL actually owns a few like blog sites and stuff like Engadget and TechCrunch, of course, where these articles have been coming from. But I don't really see Winamp as fitting into what it is that they're good at. And the way things work in business these days is if you're not like the best in the world at something or close to the best in the world, it's usually not worth it to even try doing something in the first place. Now, as far as Winamp itself goes, let's fire up the venerable old program here and clear out the existing playlist if there is one. I think the biggest problem with Winamp, yeah, I downloaded the latest and probably last version, 5.66. I think the biggest problem with Winamp is that it's largely a marketing failure for AOL. I don't think AOL really knew what to do with this program. And there is one distinct advantage that even a program as venerable as Winamp still has in this day and age. Simplicity. If you sort your music files at the Windows level, and you don't want to be like a librarian managing an old-fashioned card catalog with playlists and libraries and stuff, Winamp is probably one of the simplest ways possible to play music. Now, when you get the program, it'll have this media library functionality similar to an iTunes or a Windows Media Player or something, but it's optional. It's completely optional. You can actually use classic, you know, Winamp just like in the classic sense that this program has usually been used for. So here, let's actually compare some things here. So I want to listen to some symphonic overclocked remixes while I work on something on my computer. What do? Open up, add folder, music, overclocked remixes, BGM soundtrack orchestral is how I have it linked up. And there they are. Everything is in order, and all we do is just hit play, shuffle and repeat, and play ourselves some overclocked remixes. Now, let's try doing the same thing in iTunes. As a great example of just how today's media players have gotten away from this in terms of simplicity. Oh, by the way, if I downloaded new overclocked remixes and stuff, when I'm done, or I want to play something else, just blank the darn thing and open another folder of stuff. And I can use the Windows file structure to sort things the way I want to, and another big feature of Winamp that really keeps things simple. If I don't want to have copies and copies of all my files everywhere, if I have a folder full of shortcuts, then I can actually load a folder full of shortcuts and it'll work the same as if it were a playlist. So here's a good example. I've made a folder called Final Fantasy Only in my overclocked remix folder with the remixes in it. Now if I look inside, it's got nothing but shortcuts. So the file is incredible. So the folder is incredibly bleh. So the folder, I can say fo, so, do, ho, whatever. So the folder is very small because all it has in it is shortcuts. It's not like I copied all these files over here. So now from inside Winamp, if I clear my previous playlist here, add folder, BGM, soundtrack, orchestral, and Final Fantasy Only, and there we are, just the Final Fantasy overclocked remixes. And they'll play as if there were actual audio files in that folder. Alright, let's fire up iTunes and see what today's media players are like. Now, first things first, as we know, iTunes is updated on a very regular basis. iTunes is updated on an incredibly regular basis, and there's some ongoing issues with iTunes where, you know, it's notable size download half the time you go to start the darn thing up. Alright, so here we are. Okay, so first let's shrink this a bit so it doesn't take up the whole screen. Yeah, see the problems already? And you gotta wonder, you know, how much do you lose when you cut the size down like this? That should be more manageable. Okay, so to do the exact same thing, I mean, before it was just a few clicks. So first you have to add folder to library, in which case we can go to, nope, that's not it, H, and music. Yeah, I have lots of extra drives on here because I use actual data drives and stuff like that. So, this overclocked remixes, there it is. VGM, soundtrack, orchestral, select folder. Where's my stuff? Oh, now we gotta wait for it to process everything. Let's go! I could have been oh, now it's analyzing everything. Alright, and now if I only want to listen to some of these, I have to make a playlist. And every time I get a new file, I have to import it to the library, add it to whatever playlists I want. I mean, all I really want to do is just put the file with the stuff that I want to listen to, or group it together, or use shortcuts or something. And how do we even play anything? The play button's grayed out. How do we do this? Can we not play directly off the library or something? Oh, wait, there it goes. After I double-click on it. Oh, wait, now how do I turn on shuffle? Is that still in the corner like it was in previous? Oh, there it is. Turn that on and turn on shuffle and repeat, which is up top. Now it'll play that way. So, I suppose it's doable, but if I just want to listen to a folder full of stuff, then, you know, it's just a couple extra clicks, and it's a bit like managing, it's kind of like managing it's like if you were a librarian managing a card catalog back in the day at an old-fashioned library. You know, a few too many extra steps for just listening to some music. So that's really the kind of simplicity thing that whoever, if by chance AOL sells off Winamp to Microsoft, perhaps Microsoft can do a better job of plugging the simplicity of Winamp. Because, I mean, I can do the media library thing with Winamp like it's a big-time media player, or I could just completely skip it and just load what I want to listen to. Keep it all organized in folders, just load the folders, and just keep blanking this out. Yeah, sure, it's like Winamp, the Winamp 2 days back in the day before, not YouTube, back in the days about 10 years ago or so, but it's simple and it works, and most importantly, it plays. Unlike that quintessential thing that happened the other day. So, as much as people like to say that Winamp is outdated, I don't think it's completely outdated. I think it's still viable. It doesn't have the kind of usefulness that it used to have, but in terms of simplicity, when you just want to listen to a bunch of files, it doesn't get too much more simple than this. Now, I've heard of some more Winamp alternatives that I'll check out at some point later on, but for now, I don't really see much of a reason for this program to go away. Yeah, sure, it's dated, it's old-fashioned, but sometimes old-fashioned simplicity is what you're looking for. It'll be interesting to see, for the folks who still want to use this program in that respect, what they do after it gets shut down, if it gets shut down at this point. I don't know, though. The whole black and neon green thing kind of looks kind of Xboxy. I wonder if this could be some kind of Xbox player if Microsoft manages to acquire them. I'm rambling. Okay, so that's where I stand on the whole Winamp thing. I really think there can be a better solution besides the program disappearing off of the internet, never to be seen again. But we'll have to see if these folks that are involved right now between Nullsoft, AOL, and Microsoft, if they can do something to save this program from an untimely, well, not untimely, but an unnecessary demise. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay, signing off. Thanks for watching, and thanks for stopping by.